Now I am painting the bow. So I'm looking at my color chart, try to figure out what colors I want to use for the bow. And when I look at the highlights, I see more of, I'm really seeing a lot of like the cool yellow, a bit of the warm yellow too though, so I feel like I see both of these. So I think what I'm going to have to do is use both of them in this painting. Now that would be in the highlights. It's where I see it get become more of a cool, and then it turns a little bit towards the warm. So maybe it's a mixture of the two. When I look at the shadow colors, I am seeing some of this. So warm blue, warm yellow. Yeah, that's the color I'm seeing in the shadow. So I think for when I go to mix a dark, I'm going to use the warm blue, because that's what I am seeing, more warmth in there. And then I'll use a touch of the red. Let's see, do I want warm or cool red? I think I want warm red. Seems like the shadows are more leaning towards warm because of the warm blue, so I'm going to stick with warm. Okay, so I'm going to start by making my yellow. So I'm going to mix the two. Mix the two together. And so let's see. Get some of this yellow out. Cool yellow. Warm yellow. We'll warm it up a little bit. Also, the yellow, the green of the package is reflecting onto the yellow, so it does make it look a touch green. But I think that color looks pretty decent. All right. So if I was gonna say what value was this on the value scale, I'd say it's about a 3. I'm going to say it's a 3. 2, 3. I'm going to say it's a 3. Because I know I can make it a little lighter with white. And so I want to give myself a little bit of room. So now I'm going to take the warm blue and get some of this out for some shadow color. Warm blue, warm red, mostly warm blue, touch of the red. Because the shadows look pretty bluish or greenish to me. Probably because of the reflection off of the gift, but either way. Alright, so now I'm just checking to see what my dark is going to look like. This looks, to me, compared to the painting, this looks too orange. I think it needs to be more blue, more greenish blue. So I think I need more blue in the shadow color. So let's do this. More blue. That looks more like it. Let me try a bit more of this. Yep, that looks like it. Alright, cool. I did it. So I can use this, I just need to add more blue to it. I did go a little heavy on the red. I need more shadow color. Alright. Wow, it still looks very red. Sheesh, that color, that red is something else. Okay, so I'll just keep it like this. And let me see what happens if I add a bit more of this. Well, that looks good. Okay. Alright, so there's my dark, that's my dark yellow right there. So it's got a bit of the yellow and warm red, warm blue. Okay. So now I want to do a value scale. So let me set this aside. And I wanted to point this out. I made this thing, this little little cut into a piece of paper so that I could look at a color. So on your screen, say you're looking at a section of your paint, of your photograph, and you can't figure out what color it is. This helps to isolate the color so that you can see it more clearly, because when there's a whole lot of other colors all around it, it's really tricky, really tough to tell what's what. So, okay, now I'm going to do a chart for the bow. Now this is going to be the bow, and this is the box. Okay. And the bow is warm and cool yellow, and that's the bow. And the shadow is warm blue and warm red. Okay, and it's like I don't know, 70% blue and 30% red. Okay, for that, to mix that color, so that way I do not forget. All right, now let's do some values. Okay, I'm gonna grab a smaller brush and put this here so I can see what I'm doing. Now, I originally said that the yellow was a 3. Let's see. I'm going to start with the 7. My shadow color. Okay, now I'm going to add a bit of yellow to that. So here, took some yellow, mix it in. 6. Okay, so that here is 6. And then I'll grab some more of this and some of this. I feel like I could get a little bit. Okay. Alright. 6. I feel like it needs to be just a touch darker. Alright, cool. Let's see what that looks like for a 5. 5. Yep, I like that. I think that looks good. It pretty much matches the 5 value. So I'm squinting my eyes right now a lot, so I can tell. When I squint, I can compare these two, because it takes the color away. Alright, 5. Now I need a 4. So I'm going to take more of this and a little bit of this. A bit more. See what that looks like. 4. Great. Looks good. Now onto the 3. Great. Now I need some white for 2 and 1. So I need some white. And let me grab a different brush because this one has a darker color on it. 2. One, I'm going to do mostly white. Mostly white with a little bit of color. Just a little bit of color on my brush. Nice. Alright. There it is. Beautiful. Now, I'm going to look at my photo, my black and white. I'm going to start making a diagram. So here it is. Get all this out of the way. Whoops, not that one. The one with all the numbers. Here it is. Okay. Now I gotta look at. Let me do a new color. Okay. Now we're gonna look at all the shapes and value scale. Okay, so I've got, now the ones are going to be where the white is. 1, 1, 1. Got a bit of a 1 there. And near the edge. Okay, then, so now with this, everything's really going to fade in and out. So when you're doing fabric, there's lots of like really light fades, smooth fades. So this one goes like 1 to 2. Okay, and then it'll go like from 2. It'll go 3 and then 4, like that, okay? And then 3, 2, 1, like that, okay? So you just gotta like, that's where blending happens. You know, it's gotta go like light, medium, dark real quick. So say I've got like 4, 3, 2 to 1. Alright, so 1 goes like 1, 3, 4, 5 over here, 5. This, I'm going to say 3. And down here, it's like a 4-ish. 5, 6, 7 is going to be in all the dark section and like under here in the knot. There's a lot of detail in there. I'm going to wait on that. What else do we have? Is this? This isn't super shiny right here, so I'm going to say that's a 2 to 3 to 4. And what do we have here? A 2 to 3 to 2. Okay, so, and 4. Here, 4 to 3. And to 5. Okay. So now, just the way that this is going to go, or the way I'm going to look at this. So let me grab my painting. And I'm going to start right here, just so I can show you how I'm going to go about doing this. With a larger brush, dry my brush off, and I got my colors here. Got my colors. So I said that it's going to be a 2 here, so here's a 2, and then it starts to get darker, so it goes 2 to 3, Three is the actual color. The yellow. 2 to 3. And then it's going to go to 4. So I'm going to bring this down a little bit. When I go to blend, 4, so this I'm just putting in as my first layer, of course. Going to look streaky as always. Okay, but it's a good start. I'm leaving myself a little note. Be like, all right, it gets a little darker over here. It's going to get a little darker, maybe even a bit darker than that. But for now, that's okay. I'm going to go back and make adjustments. Alright, so let's get into the next one, the one next to it. I think I need a little bit more white for this one because this one gets very light. It's very light right here. And then along this edge, slightly darker, and then it gets a bit darker, and then it gets darker. And this little curve here. Then it looks to get a bit lighter. But then it gets darker again. And darker over in here. And to me, this looks like it should be a little more bluish when I'm looking at the painting. I mean, when I'm looking at the photo. So I may need to grab more blue to put in there. But I'm going to, let's see what I have here. Clean my brush. Yeah, it looks like it's going to need a little bit more blue in that, but for now, I'm just going to keep on going and blend this a little bit because I know I'm going to do more layers, so right now I'm just going to pay attention to the pattern, the light dark pattern. And I'll cool it a little bit with some blue later. Get a little lighter right there. Even though it doesn't really get a lot lighter because it's in a shadow shape. And then this in the shadow shape too. All right. Cool. So I'm going to continue on with this, and like I said, it's the first layer, so it is just a base. It's like a base coat of paint that you're doing, and you're going to notice, you know, some details along the way that you can make adjustments for. But while, you know, just let your first coat go down. You know, nice and like, keep it simple, don't go nuts on details, because you'll go back and you'll be able to put some more things in there. Okay? All right.